What's up YouTube? My name is Uncle Smokey, and this is Uncle Smokey Stock Trades. And before I start this video, I would like to say, I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. So please take what I say with a grain of salt, and do your own DD. What was that? Oh my god! Meta! Wow! This is probably the best day we've ever seen. Undoubtedly the best day. And I'm gonna let's just go. We're gonna break it down. We're gonna talk about why this was such a great day. Holy crap, guys. Wow. Today we're going to talk about ticker symbol MMAT, Metamaterials Inc. We're going to break down the TA, we're going to look at the option chain, we're going to go through both Ortex and Fintel. I've got a small bit of news for you, and at the end of the video, my prediction. So today we opened up the day at $5.24. We hit a low of $5.24. That's right. This is one of the few days that we can say that we did not drop lower than our opening digit. We did hit a high of $6.28 and close the day out at $6.08. And at that $6.28 mark is where we did hit our biggest pullback of the day. And I will say that the only form of consolidation that I can say that we did have today was right here for about 20 minutes towards the end of the day. And then it took a minor dip and rip. I mean, we really didn't have much consolidation today, which does bother me a little bit, but we'll get into that a little bit later in the video. Now, normally when we have these big run-ups in the morning, we have a following of a pullback. And in all honesty today, guys, we didn't have much for pullbacks at all. They were very minor. In fact, they only happened when the RSI would heat up. In fact, if you look right here where my cursor is, that's a hot spot in the RSI, which also shows a hot spot in the stock when it did touch that $5.40 mark. Now, it did have a minor pullback and then shot right back up, again, touching another key critical point where the RSI got a little hot and it needed to pull back. Now, every time you see the RSI get hot like that on these spikes, you better believe that this is going to be a little bit of a short attack. Now, don't think it's an attack, though. I have addressed this before. Not all shorting is bad. Some shorting is absolutely necessary. You need to have minor pullbacks in the stock so that way the stock can have enough room to run again. You don't want it to run parabolically outside of the RSI and above the MACD for too long of a period of time without having some minor pullbacks. It just allows the stock time to breathe, allows for investors to pull back in, gain some more liquidity, and push again. And we saw that several times throughout the day. Now, I will say that there was some massive shorting going on. Like, this was a pretty good attack here. Really, the RSI was at a medium level. There was no need for any kind of major push down. There could have been, of course, some selling involved. Maybe day traders, things like that, coming in and pushing out for the lunch hour. That's very possible. Freeing up their liquidity so they can go to their fancy restaurant. I highly doubt that. That's probably not true at all. I'm just using that as a scenario. Anyway, after this little bit of an attack here, we did remount. I mean, we came right back at it after we hit the oversold area. The MACD crossed over the signal line, and boom, there we go. We fired right back up. Now, I have mentioned before that $6 is going to be a tough spot to break. $6 is going to be more of a psychological level of resistance. It is a technical level of resistance as well, but the brain tells you the dollar points are very psychological. I got a fly flying around here, guys. Did you just see it? It landed on my head. Anyway, the dollar points are very psychological. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're all going to be psychological. They'll all act as resistance levels. Now, it only bounced off of 6 two times here. Once and twice before it did finally break through and traded above the $6 level for quite some time. In fact, you're looking at about, an hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes roughly. And again, once it did hit the 628 mark, which is not a technical level of resistance, I wouldn't say. We're closer to the 635 and 640 marks are going to be your technical levels. It was a rejection point. So I did draw a small line here. If we happen to see this come up again as a rejection point, we'll consider it as a firm level of resistance. Like I did say earlier, the only point of consolidation I had seen was right here, and it was not very long at all. And that's what is kind of bugging me a little bit. We had a lot of forward movement today, and yes, it was stair-stepping movement, but it was a mass amount of it all at once. So we're going to talk about that again a little bit later in my prediction, but I would expect a small pullback maybe in the pre-market early parts of the day tomorrow. Now, as far as it goes to the buying pressure, we do have that Nanotech vote tomorrow, which I would have to say was probably the buy the hype scenario today. So again, talking about a pullback for tomorrow, there's a very good possibility that we see some of these gains disappear in the early hours of the day. Let's go ahead and zoom out to a longer time frame. This here is the 30-minute chart. Now, the 30-minute chart is kind of confirming why I say that. You've got the MACD just crossed over the signal line. It is dipping down, and you do have a red bar starting to form on the histogram, showing that the stock is going to start to make maybe a small downtrend. Don't think that that means it's going to trend downwards. It just might be a reversal for a very short amount of time. Also, the RSI is still showing that it's pretty close to that overbought area. So, again, giving me another reason to believe that we could see a small pullback. Now, we have traded over the 50-day MA line all day today, and it is still currently hooking up in the upward trajectory. So we'll take those out so you can see it. It is still pushing up. So that's still showing that it's very bullish. Again, a pullback doesn't mean it is bearish. It just needs to happen. I would expect for it to pull back and probably come around to that 50-day MA line. Again, that's for the prediction. That's just a preemptive talk into it. Move over into the 1 day. Let's go ahead and toss our lines back up. All right, there's our line. So yesterday I had tossed out another descending triangle line. This is the first one we did break out. I showed up another one on our breakout, and I had said that we need this to open and close above the line. Oh my God, did it open and close above the line? It opened and closed 15 lines. Again, what an amazing day. Now, with the signals on this page, you're showing the RSI is an extreme hook up. Okay, that means it's going north. You also have a green bar showing on the histogram, and the MACD line actually just crossed over the signal line above it. So this is showing more of a bullish sign than the 30-minute or 1 hour chart. That was the 30-minute chart. This is showing a more bullish sign for tomorrow. And again, this is the 1 day chart. That does not mean that what I had said before is wrong. It just means the overall day looks like it could still be pretty bullish. And I agree. All right. So let's see here. What else do we need to talk about on this page? Oh, yes. I do remember. So the one thing I do want to show you is it does look like we have got a really nice trend line going on here. I'm trying to draw it out for you on the fly. I like to make them yellow so everybody can see them. And it just disappeared on me. It's not cooperating, guys. There we go. So it's yellow so everybody can see it. So we do have a trend line running up. And what we're looking to do is just to stay above this trend line. In all honesty, that's all we want to do. If we can hold above this trend line, then we're just going to keep moving forward. I mean, it's that simple. In order to do that, what we need volume to keep pouring in. Not just any volume, we need buying volume. Buying pressure needs to keep stepping in order for the stock to keep moving forward. Now, again, this is in no way, shape, or form a definite anything. This is a casino, largest casino in the world. Anything can change. Anything can happen. I'm just giving you what I see and interpreting it the best way I can. So let's move on to the options chain. So today was a very bullish day in the options chain, as it usually is. Today we had 90% calls at 55,150 calls, 10% puts at 6,289 puts, for a grand total of 61,441 contracts traded today. Now, always keep this in mind. This does not mean this is all contracts just bought. These are contracts that are bought and sold. They're not just bought. Just keep that in mind, okay? Now, the other thing I want to talk about, first, before we say that, implied volatility is at 148.73, which is absolutely fantastic, especially after a almost 18% run up on the day. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the call options for October 15th expiration. We are going to be coming up on that expiration here pretty quick, so we're going to go ahead and start talking about it. Currently, at the $6 strike and further into the money, we are sitting on right around 35,000 contracts already out there, already in the money. Providing we can keep all of those $6 strikes in the money and we keep bringing more strikes into the money, that's going to increase the number of shares that need to be bought by the market makers and the hedge funds to cover their positions in the options chain. So just keep that in mind that as we approach, we might start seeing some of these numbers come in further and grow, because this is a very good opportunity for what we know as a gamma squeeze. Every time the expiration date comes close and you've got a very large number of options that fall into the money, it forces the hedge funds and market makers' hands to go ahead and cover those positions and causes buying pressure. So just keep that in the back of your minds, in the upcoming days and weeks. So let's go ahead and move on over to Ortex. Let's hit refresh. Anything change? I doubt it. All right, so yeah, nothing changed, and unfortunately my internet's running really slow. So, I do every single day put out my morning briefing, and I did it again today. As of this morning, there wasn't an update on the average number of days on loan, and it looks like there is as of now, but it's only as of the 24th, which was Friday, and that is 18.93 days on loan. And that's just the average number of days that short positions have been holding their long short positions. All right, so today we looked at 93.85% utilization. We had a 13.54% cost to borrow, and the days to cover is at 2.57 days. And this has all been kind of growing gradually. Now, this did come down a little bit throughout the day. The cost to borrow did, as well as the borrowed shares. So the current estimated short interest is 35.3 million, which is about 15.28% of the free float. Did come down about 6% on the day, and of course it did. I mean, we did move 17% forward. So you're going to expect for some of the newer shorts, some of the younger shorts that are shorted at a lower position to have covered those shares, especially if they were sub $6. All right. What else do we want to talk about on here? Nothing. Fintel. All right, so Fintel basically corroborates everything that they say, 2.7 days to cover. Now, you're going to notice the short squeeze score is gradually coming down. And again, I am not opposed to that. I've said this many times over. The squeeze doesn't need to happen yet. It needs to prolong a little longer. We've got some good catalysts coming up. Let's wait for those catalysts to really arise. So, for instance, tomorrow's the vote on Nanotech. That means a couple of weeks after that, it will be finalized. Now, that's not an extreme catalyst, but it's a catalyst nonetheless. If we get any kind of partnership, that's a catalyst. And those are the things that you want to be what drives your squeeze. Because if a squeeze is drove off a catalyst, then there's a better chance for it to stabilize at that higher level after the squeeze is peaked. Doesn't mean it won't come back down a little bit, but it won't come back down as hard because it has something to hold itself up. It has something mineral. All right, so it looks like short shares available is currently 200,000. That is as of the end of the day. And that's nothing. That really isn't. When you've got 230 million shares in the free float, 200,000 shares is really nothing. Short borrow fee rate's currently sitting at right around 13. That's still really high. And it looks like today the FINRA total volume was 23,200,000. That is well over half of our volume today. And that was about 32.27%. Let's hit refresh, see if we've got any of the rest of our info for today. We do. Grand total of 34.72% short volume ratio from these exchanges. Remember, this is not all of the exchanges. This is only FINRA, CBOE, PSX, and BX. This is not all of them. Which also means that this does not mean that this is the exact number, but it's going to be pretty close. And none of this data down here has changed as of yet. We've been doing the short sale transactions, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. So on the short sale transactions, this is for Friday, the 24th. We had 155 transactions for a total of 350,000 shares shorted, and that's a grand total of $1,793,500. And again, this is just over. This is just transactions over $5,000, and again, also not all of the transactions reported. Always keep in mind that the hedge funds, market makers, anybody who's trying to manipulate the stock, they're not going to give you the exact numbers. They're not going to report that to Fintel. They're not going to report that to Ortex because it's manipulation numbers and they're false numbers, and they don't want to be caught with their pants down. I mean, they really don't. All right, let's keep pushing forward. So today we did have a new buyer. And again, this doesn't mean that they bought today. This was probably an effective date of like 7:30, like most of these are. But again, micro cap portfolio, it's an institutional class. Again, these aren't shorts. Anything that you've seen in here, I would be hard to believe that any of these are short positions. Index funds and stuff like that, they're a safe bet. People like to invest in index funds because they're a safe bet. So, yeah. Welcome, U.S. Microcap Portfolio Institutional Class. All right, so did we have any news on the Twitter pages? I don't see anything there for Meta, but we did have something come through from Nanotech today. This was it's about a 5, if that, 10-minute read. Basically, let's bring it up. I already had it up. Why am I taking forever? Top 3 visual authentication features for enhanced banknote security. Basically talking about the bank that they've already got and all this other good stuff. And yeah, I mean, if you want to read it, I haven't read it all the way through. I'm sure Sterling's probably covered this. He does a really good job at covering all of this information. Like I've said a million times over, I'm TA, he's news. And he does a lot of TA too. Don't get me wrong. He's fantastic. He's got freaking lines in the sand that can't be broken. All right. So I think that takes care of everything I want to talk about today. That takes us back to the prediction. All right. So with the prediction today, we're going to cover a couple of different scenarios. Normally I just do a bear and a bull, but I do think that tomorrow's going to be a little bit of a weird day just because of the Nanotech acquisition. So I want to cover that one first. So here's what I see. First thing in the morning, I see a little bit of a dip, and that's going to be coming into the acquisition news. Now, I do know that is at, I want to say it's like 10 or 11 a.m. I'm not 100% positive. I do know Sterling's going to be covering, but I don't know what time that is their time. I think it's like 9 a.m., which is pretty close to my time, I think. Not positive. But anyhow, I see a small dip coming into that. And then once that whole entire call is over, basically stating that the vote has gone through, everything's good to go, I see a pretty good rush of volume right back in. And I do see it pushing us up into what will become my bull prediction. So before I start, like I said, before I started cracking into those other ones, I wanted to first talk about what would happen with the Nanotech, what I think is going to happen with Nanotech. And that is, again, a dip. I see a dip all the way down to roughly $5.85, and if it does not stop there, expect $5.75 to be its catch. And then bounce off of that point and run very quickly right back up to the $6 mark, maybe even $6.10 right away. Now, if it does break below $6, expect for $6 to be a level of resistance again, possibly seeing a bounce or two before it cracks back above it. Now, with that being said, I want to give my bear prediction. Ignore that for a moment. That is more towards my bull prediction. So bear prediction, if we open up in the channel that we should open up in, which is basically right where we closed at, I would see an immediate drop to 590, probably going to blow right through that to 585, just like on the little bit of a Nanotech prediction. If it blows through that, we're at 575. 575 would be the 50% retracement on the Fibonacci retracement from today. So if we go to $5.75, I would expect a bounce back towards $6, a bounce off of $6 and trend between $6 and $5.85. for the vast majority of the day. After lunch, maybe a little bit of volume steps in, pushes it back above $6, trending it up towards the $6.05, $6.10 channel to maybe even have a light, small green day. Very possible. On my bear prediction, a very possible small green day. Now, on to the bull prediction. So, if we go bull, I would expect for us to, first of all, not even be anywhere near where we're at right now. I would think we would probably open up closer to the $6.20 range, basically where we're at right now in the after hours. I would expect for us to open up the $6.20 range, make an immediate test of $6.35, probably bouncing off of that one, maybe even two good times before cracking through that and going for $6.45 to $6.50. Now, if we happen to have enough volume, enough buying pressure to push us through the $6.45, $6.50 channel, $6.80 is our next stop. Beyond $6.80, we see $7. Once we get past $7, I'm just basically making up numbers at this point. I would expect $7.15, possibly $7.25, $7.50, $7.75, and then $8. And I'm only using the quarters mainly because there's really no true levels of support and resistance beyond this point. We're going to be basically making them up as we go. Yeah, the stock has hit these levels once or twice before since it's been meta, but it was in straight downward pressure with nothing really stopping it. So I don't really like utilizing those lines from the very early days of it because they're not strong. So basically, once we get past $7, I think we're basically creating our own lines. And I said basically a lot today. I just noticed it. Sorry. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Make sure that you comment for the algorithms. Tell your friends and family about Meta. Make sure you're getting these videos out to them. Go over and watch Sterling. Go over and watch Terry. They're both going to have some unique information for you. I'm sure Sterling has probably covered this nanotech stuff a lot more than I just did for you, so definitely go talk to him. And Terry, well, he's just a freaking blast. So make sure you go see him. He's going to have a lot of fun on his channel. He's got a lot of great information, great news for you. Also, I do want to tell you that on the Hexo thing that I had talked about yesterday, it did have a nice, I want to say 4.5 or 5% push today. I did buy into Hexo. I've got not only contracts, but I did buy 500 shares at a dollar cost average of $1.97. So I am officially a Hexo holder, and I'm going to continue the analysis with them as well. I'll be giving you that every few days, hopefully. Once I get through the company profile, I'm going to do a big video on what the company's all about, where they've been, and where they're going. Peace.